what this really does is it's a pathway to a bridge to the final big mistake, which is I think the biggest one of all, which is this idea of we act and make decisions based on the business we have now versus the one that we want. And so here's the perfect example of this. When you're looking at that tool or software that you need, let's say you want to be a company that's making $50,000 a month, but right now you're making 1,000 or two.
Yeah.
And you see the software that you need to like host your membership or course or whatever, and it's a little pricey. You're like, ooh, I don't know, it's a little expensive. And so there's the decision to get it or not based on where you're at right now. But then there's that question that you get to ask, which is, what would the $50,000 a month business do? And most people stay stuck. Most people don't grow because they keep making decisions from the business they are at right now, their current circumstances, their current time availability, their current resources, their current bank account size, versus making decisions from the type of business that they're committed to being. And this is, I understand this, but I mean, your people get this, right? But this is a bit of an intellectual, intangible concept. But last year we went from 3 million to 8 million plus in revenue. And I attribute all of it to coming back to this one piece that I'm sharing right now, is that I had to stop showing up the way I had been showing up, realizing that to make $3 million, I know how to make $3 million, but I didn't know how to make any more than that because I hadn't done it.
Right.
And I realized I was, by the way, we'd been going from like 2 million to 2.2 to 2.3 to 2.5, this little incremental growth, which is still growth, but that growth was based on work harder, work longer, work faster. And we experienced a quantum leap in growth the moment I said, what would a $10 million a year business do? How does that CEO operate? How do they show up? Where does he spend his time? Where does he focus his energy? What does he say no to? Yeah. What does he do differently than a $3 million a year business? And I got absolutely obsessed with this question in a healthy way. Like I wasn't worried or freaked out. I was curious. Yeah. I was curious. And I had to let go of who I thought I was. I had to let go of how I had done things in the past in order to try things a new way. And excuse me, at the end of the day, we didn't hit $10 million, but we got pretty darn close.
Pretty close.
And I cannot tell you, Richard Bandler, it's one of my favorite quotes. Shannon's heard me say it probably a million times. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of questions you ask. And that's because your subconscious mind, it's like rules your life, right? Mm-hmm. Its job is to answer whatever question you put in front of it.
That's right.
So if you go around saying, what's wrong with me? Your subconscious mind's probably going to give you an answer. Like, well, where do we begin?
I've got it.
How much time you got? There we say, what would it look like? What would it feel like for me to be a $1 million business owner? How would I spend my time? What would I do differently? How do other $1 million CEOs spend their time? You would open up a new dialogue with yourself. You would begin to look at things differently, and you will reach the level of success that you want in direct proportion to how willing you are to stay in that inquiry, to stay in that question, because it's in the question. See, people are looking for the answers. No, screw the answers. Yeah. Stay in the question, because it's in the question that we create new possibility for our lives. It's that question that creates this opening, this space, this room for new. But when you've got a full cup and you've got all the answers, you're just saying one answer is a no to any other possibility. So that's why, just to bring this full circle, to go back and think you know it all, and to think I'm going to use my common sense because I'm smart and I got good grades, which is how, by the way, that's what I did. I got good grades in school. I'm smart and I work hard. I can do this.
Yeah.
I struggled for 5 years straight broke as a joke. And it wasn't until I started surrendering and saying, maybe I don't know. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe what it takes is outside of what I think I know.
Yeah.
That's when things began to open up for me, and that's when they'll open up for you guys as well. So that's the fifth one. Are you going to make decisions and take actions from where you are now or from where you're committed to being? Because what got you here will never get you there. It doesn't work that way.